Okay, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? So, it's officially dream time again. Um, Dream story time at that. So, this stems from someone asking about, they're a Pisces, as a matter of fact, and they're asking about what does it mean when you dream about someone before you even meet them? And then when you meet them, they actually become a crush and vice versa, and etc., etc., things that occur after crushes occur. So I do have intel on this. I say this, I'm not going to be able to detail exactly what it means to you, right? What I can say is that it means something. There is some type of past connection, perhaps in a past life, and or perhaps something that you two need to do in this lifetime, should do in this lifetime, or at the least it's something that could be embarked on, could have been embarked on, should one or both people put more emotion behind actually solidifying that union, or at least investigating what that union is supposed to be about. And with that being said, whatever it is that's in the dream is how you would personally be able to detail it. See, I can't detail it without knowing the story, right? I can't detail it without knowing the dream and other sorts of information that is attached to this bond that you two have. What I can do though is give you an explanation of a dream that I had that falls along the lines of this. Now, this dream is pretty much in a book that I'm writing, but it's still going to be in there regardless. So I'm going to say it anyway. I think it's time, put that energy out there. So this is why I have a dream, and in this dream, I'm in a place overseas. How do I know it's overseas? I've seen, the architecture is different in Europe than it is in the United States. So this is how I know when I'm in Europe when I dream. I always know when I'm in Europe. Have I personally in this lifetime been to Europe? No, not yet. However, I know when I'm in Europe. I'm in Europe in this dream, and I'm with this woman, but I'm not with her. So it's kind of like I'm cloaked inside of the dream. I don't know if you had dreams like this before, right? When you're in a dream and certain people can see you, other people can't see you. Or maybe sometimes no one can see you, but you're there. You know what I mean? I call this cloaking, because it's like somehow you are really there. So you hear about the dreams of people who actually visit different regions and different time locations inside of the universe. They see what they need to see, or they grab what they need to grab, or they change around what they need to change around, and then they get out of there undetected. So I call that cloaking. So I'm cloaked in this dream. However, she can see me, this woman that I'm talking about, who I developed a crush on and actually ended up meeting after the dream. She can see me. She's with a guy though. She's with a man friend, and this guy is with her like on a romantic level. Like, I can tell, I feel the energy between these two. They're seeing each other. They're kind of broken in at that. You know what I mean? The energy between them two and her and I though are different, and you can tell. So she's giving me the type of attention that is more excitable than the type of attention that she gives to this guy. For whatever reasons, at this point, it's kind of like unknown, but I can feel the intensity between us. Like, there is passion between us, but we're just speaking about regular things. I don't totally recall what the conversation was about. Perhaps I have it jotted down in the rough draft of this book. This was about 2014, 2015 when this occurred. So, okay, we're speaking, but the conversation is light, but it is some type of intensity involved. I do remember that. So it might have even been a quarrel of some sort, but not that deep to the extent of, a serious fallout. And as a matter of fact, when I first became conscious that I was in the dream, I was kind of concerned about her being so passionate, because her boyfriend, her man friend was right there. You know what I'm saying? They're in the bedroom and everything. Like, so at first I'm like, yo, why is she so comfortable just being the way that she is with me? But then, I feel the place out. He can't see me. He's none the wiser. He has no idea I'm there. Okay, granted. So they sit down, they get comfortable, and I'm just like the third wheel now. Like, I'm sitting around chilling. I'm looking around the apartment. Pretty nice apartment. It was definitely not on the first floor. It was probably on the second, third floor in this building or whatever. Okay, look, the Heart of Paris. Headline just came across my computer. It says the Heart of Paris. Are you with me? Okay, so you couldn't see that, but I'm so serious. It's a CNN headline, so if you think I'm playing, check it out. So I'm in this apartment and I'm just the third wheel now. Then it's not like they're having sex or whatever the case may be. But, again, I feel that they're in a romantic situation. I don't feel jealous. I don't feel any of that. I'm just more concerned about how we're going to fix this potential issue that we're having. So the dream shifts because I take a seat, and as I'm sitting down in the bed, these two, they're like going off in the back, like taking off their backpacks. They have backpacks on. So they're taking off their backpacks and they're getting situated. And I look on the bed, and now there's an angel. It's a Caucasian angel with actual wings. Like, this chick had wings on. She's glowing like they talk about when they write these books. This angel resembles the exact features of the woman who just walked out, I was speaking with, who had the backpack on. But in this situation, she had her hair back in a ponytail, you know what I'm saying? She was in like, comfortable gear and everything. As the angel, she's naked. She's butt-ass naked, sitting Indian style on the bed. She has a concerned look on her face, and she's glowing. So I'm like, okay. Now, to her left, my right, is a gravesite. The gravesite had the year of the, from this year to this year. All of that was engraved on it. Again, I don't recall exactly what that was. I do know it was in the past. It was in history. So even according to the dream, like, I can tell by the clothes that was being worn, the backpacks and stuff like that, it wasn't as historical as this date on the tombstone stated. It wasn't that far back. It was like present modern day time. But this tombstone, nonetheless, had the age range of historical events. It's in 19-something. I do remember that. So I see that and I'm like, okay. I'm trying to piece things together while I'm still in a dream. And then all of a sudden, there's like cobblestone brick. This is another thing that I pick up about being in Europe. Anyone who's from Europe, can you get in the comment box and let me know, is there more like cobblestone street pavements and sidewalk pavements in Europe, like around Paris and stuff like that? Let me know. But I see the ground then has this exploded aura about it, like it's been bombed. And the reason why I fully know is because to get out of the dream, it's like an explosion, like an impact, and it pushes me out of the dream. So there's like rocks and stuff flew everywhere, and the last thing I see again is this angel's face, but now it's even more concerned. So I wake up from the dream. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty intense. It was intense to the point that I jotted it down. Whenever I get dreams that I feel are hugely significant, I used to jot all of them down, but I'm just like, some of them I'm just like, okay, that was because I was watching too much of that movie last night or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I can piece it together very well now. However, or it's just sometimes it just doesn't mean nothing that I feel is substantial, so I won't jot it down. Or I'll just remember it now. Better at remembering these dreams. But I wake up and I jot this one down. I'm like, yo, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know these people, but that joint was deep. So months go by. It wasn't like a year or two or nothing like that. Maybe a month. You know what I'm saying? It was not a long time that passed by. This I'm sure of. I'm online and I'm having a discussion with a family member of mine, and we're kicking it back and forth. It's like one of those, I think, political issues that we're talking about, right? So we're going back and forth. We're doing the 1-2, and then a third party gets involved. This person comments on the string, on the thread that we're commenting on. Now, the language used was intelligent, however dogmatic. So it was strongly opinionated. This is a fire sign I'm talking about. So you can probably guess what fire sign I'm talking about. And this is another reason, come to find out later on, why I felt such intensity between us. You know, I got Venus in Aries. Any fire sign I'm attracted to. Like, I could walk in a room and have sex with a fire sign just like that. True story. I digress. All right, so she enters this conversation on the thread. So she states her opinion. Again, intelligent. We're having an intelligent conversation. Debate. It's a debate, though. And she states a highly opinionated answer. And I know this because I know the facts of the discussion. Like, we're having a discussion based on facts. You know what I'm saying? So she put her opinion inside of it. Nonetheless, though, it was like I said, it was intelligent. I welcomed it. I embraced it. And, you know, we kept it going. Cool. So I look closer at the thumbnail because I like intelligence. So I look and I see the thumbnail. I'm like, that's her. That's Shorty from the Dream. Like, that's her. But you know, on the social networks, the thumbnails are pretty little and you might think that you're deceiving yourself. So I clicked on it. I went to profile page and everything. I started clicking on pictures and everything immediately. I'm like, yo, this is her. This is the woman from my dream a few weeks ago. So, of course, I don't know how to just come out and blurt this out. Like, listen, you're in my dream a few weeks ago. Do you know, are you seeing someone, a guy that looks like this and the third? I didn't do any of that stuff. I kept it cool, calm, and collective, and I'm just thinking to myself, how is this going to come about, right? How am I going to do this with her? Or even should I? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes with dreams, they can be so personal or feel so personal, you don't want to tell the people involved if you do know them because you don't want to alarm them and possibly shift something in the wrong direction. And then all of a sudden, you know, you have some type of regret or whatever the case may be, right? So check out what happens next. So I'm on, you know, staying on the social network like any of us would do. And she makes a post stating that she's going to Paris. So I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, she's not stating whether she's with a significant other or lover. She's not saying if she's going to see her lover. None of that is being put inside of the public realm, right? Granted. So I'm like, okay, she's going to Paris. But now, you know, something ticks off in my head. Maybe that was Paris. You understand? Because I already know, like, I'm in Europe. I'm not even in the States. I'm in Europe. I don't know exactly where, but as soon as she said Paris, I'm like, I was probably in Paris. You know what I'm saying? So I'm keeping up. Like, I think I might have even starred her profile so like I could get updates on when she was doing her posts, because I wanted to keep track of her. I felt that concerned about this woman. So this signified, like, yo, I know this woman. Like, I don't recall ever meeting her in this lifetime. However, I know this woman. I am personally and emotionally and passionately attached to this woman. I liked her as soon as I seen her. I liked her in the dream. You know what I'm saying? But now that I see her and she's right there, and I'm clicking through the photos and everything, I'm like, I like this chick. I even think I slept with this chick before. Probably on numerous occasions. You know what I'm saying? In a past life or something. So I'm that invested in her already, and I'm just like, because sometimes I don't like when I get like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all psychic. It's all like telepathic type stuff, and it's like you sit there and you question yourself. Should I break the ice and tell her this potentially loony story that I'm about to tell her about how I know her already and stuff? So I'm just like, let me just chill and keep watch of her. She goes to Paris. And, you know, as people do, they, you know, make their posts when they're on the plane and stuff like that. So I'm keeping watch. So I couldn't help it. I just inboxed her like, yo, listen. Because I had inboxed her already after the debate that we had and stuff like that. So we got cool like instantly, right? Long rapport in the inbox, wherever the case may be. So I inboxed her and I'm like, listen, be careful out there. You know what I'm saying? She's like, what do you mean? And I'm just like, I can't explain it detail by detail because I didn't want to say something that makes her panic and then she ends up being in a spot where she should not be. So I'm just saying, like, look, it may seem spooky to you if I tell you exactly what I'm talking about, but just know that if anything feels incorrect in your gut or you have a gut feeling about a situation, follow that and don't, like, you know, involve yourself in something that you wouldn't ordinarily involve yourself in, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? She's like, okay, I'm fine, but all right. You know what I mean? Whatever. She LOLs and everything. And I'm like, all right. So the Paris terrorist attacks happened maybe 20 hours later. So, of course, I'm looking back online to see if she's okay and everything. I inbox her again. Are you okay? She's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We didn't go into a lengthy discussion of how, you know, she didn't even bring it up. Like, how did you know did you hear about what happened out here? Did you know something was going to happen out here? You know what I mean? I brought it up and I was like, listen, is everything okay or whatever the case may be? She was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I kind of left earlier, you know, like she was either in a process of leaving or, you know, she wasn't close enough to it to actually be impacted by it. That's what she said. So I was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I just had this hunch or whatever the case may be. But I left it at that. I didn't explain the dream and everything. I didn't do all that. You know, I didn't ask her if she was out there seeing someone. I didn't do all of that. This, I already know now. Like, that was a confirmation. Like, I know this person. I knew this person before I even met her. And I did mention that to her, too. I did tell her that. I said, look, I know you without knowing you yet. I'm just keep it like that. You know what I mean? But she laughed it off. She shrugged it off. She didn't call me crazy, but she just shrugged it off. She made it. She was safe. She didn't get caught up in the explosion. Boom. You know what I mean? So, did I save a life? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. She said she wasn't close enough in the vicinity to be impacted by it anyway, so I just left it at that. So what happens after this is the connection gets stronger. Of course, you know, as I said, I was crushing on the chick. And, you know, we're building this relationship and it comes to the point where I want to know more. Like, I'm being more inquisitive. So this is also something that I'm going to tell you, is to look at your last names and trace the lineages of your last names. Because that's what I did in this situation, and I came up with a lot of data that resonated with me. So again, evolutionary psychology will state that I was alive in those times, right? But in this lifetime, it would state that reality would suggest that I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? But I'm reading all this historical data on these names, and all of it just feels home to me. Feels very homey to me, very familiar to me. So I start piecing things together, like possibly this is why and where I know this woman from in past lives. So there may be some answers for you there. Do that. And okay, so we continue talking more, and some of that data is what actually encouraged me to speak to her more, to the point where I wanted to meet this woman physically. I wanted to meet up with her in person. However, I seen this professional aura about her that drew me to her even more. So even when I'm looking at the last names, I'm like, okay, I get it. I know who this woman is. Something was awkward about her, though, because to me, and I could be wrong, but to me it seemed like she didn't know who she was. And potentially she had digressed from past life stature into what she was becoming now, because not only was she a strongly opinionated woman, she was an emotionally based woman, to where she would rant, but she would rant at things, to my perspective, had solutions to, that could be solved, and perhaps did not need that type of adamant attention that she would give it. She was fiery, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, but something deep inside of her, and that was connected to me, I'm like, this woman is more than what she's behaving like. You know what I mean? Her lineage actually comes from a royal lineage. And she just was not giving off that aura to me. And she was put in certain situations and circumstances that kind of led on to that. So I set up a meeting between us, right? Peep this. I set up a meeting between us so that we can conduct business. I came across some money, and I wanted to hire her to do some things for me, which she was evidently qualified for after checking her portfolio and stuff like that. So we arranged this meeting, which happened via Wi-Fi connection, right? And so we having a meeting, and when it was about an hour long, very straight to the point. She was a very stern woman, to the point though that she was slightly different than she was online with just text. It seems like we had a more friendly rapport when it came to that, but when it came to this and actually being face to face, she was very stern. She was very even feminist like. I know y'all might beat me up for that, but I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, she gave off this aura that stated she may have been hurt before, definitely by men. And I picked this up on certain posts and rants that she would make sometimes too, or like, you know, how dudes would catcall at her and stuff like that. She was fucking gorgeous though, you know what I'm saying? But you could tell like she was really hurt by stuff like that. So I paid attention to that. So when we're face to face, we're having this conversation, you know, that's kind of like pouring out of her aura. Sometimes slips in her speech here and there. And I'm not saying she was personalizing it towards me, but I think all men in general could get it when you came across this woman, especially when it came to business matters. And I know how things can be challenging for women, the women who actually have to stand up and fight for what it is that they want, especially when it comes to business situations, in contrast to women who just get everything thrown to them and thrown at them for like no work or no work ethic. Like, this woman worked, you know what I'm saying? I've seen her portfolio. She puts in work. She has a lot of connections. She knows people in a lot of different places. However, I was looking to do some independent contracting, which did not call for large payroll. You know what I mean? It just called for maybe a one job or a 2 or 3 job thing, and, you know, piece at a time. You know, let me see how this works. If it works, I'll get back to you. She was not looking for that. And she was very, I would say even, what's that word? Not desperate, but she was pretty edgy. Like, she needed something quick. You know what I'm saying? She needed something quick. And, you know, we're doing the whole negotiating thing and trying to bargain with her. And she's like, so I'm like, okay, listen. When it came down to the nitty gritty of it, I'm like, all right, so listen. How much are you asking for? You know what I mean? And the number she gave me was like, whoa. Now, let me tell you something. I feel her, right? Especially when you live in the United States of America and you're doing some type of work, you got a portfolio, you got a resume that states what you do. You expect United States of America to respond to you in the way that they advertise themselves. You know what I'm saying? This era, however, it just wasn't the time for that. Like, and this I knew from being a business student and doing my own business. Like, you know, the people in these large firms, they didn't necessarily want to hire people with so much education and stuff. This woman had education too. Like, you know, it was a lot of discrepancies when it came to the workplace. It's pretty much what I'm saying. And if they can hire someone for less than that, what you're asking for, they'll do it. You know, they may throw them a training course. Like, we'll train you, but, you know, we can only afford to give you this much. You know what I'm saying? So she might have been faced with those things. I understood, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even know if you're worth that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because even the companies that she worked for, they weren't prominent companies. Not that it truly matters to me. I like a company, period. If you're working and you got a company, it could be the smallest company. If you're running it and it's operating and you're oiling your machine, I'm with you. I'm for you. I don't care about the scale of it necessarily. But, you know, the figure that she was asking for, I was just like, I don't care how much I'm connected to this woman and passionate about this woman. I'm not getting her that ballpark figure. Like, and I didn't even have it, to be honest with you. But, you know, I could have possibly, part of me would always want to, like, okay, maybe I can make a few moves to actually get that. Nah, I did not feel any of that. I'm like, no. She seemed too eager at that. You know what I'm saying? She seemed too pressed for time. So again, it wasn't desperate, but it was just like, it's that word I'm searching for, man. She was edgy, man. And this was a concern of mine. So again, here it is in the pit of my stomach. I'm emotionally attached to this woman. I know this woman from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's disturbing because I'm conducting business too. I don't even want to be that connected. So I had to like detach myself from saying, no, I'm not going to go try to get her that type of money. Like, no, that's just not correct. I'm asking her to do a one-time thing. Depending on the results of that, we'll see if we do it again. No. So, of course, it didn't work out. However, I'm still like this. Listen, I know the figure that you want. Perhaps something could happen between now and the next time that I reach out to you that suggests perhaps what you're talking about is correct. Because I view things like that. Like if something doesn't work in the immediate time, maybe it just needs more time to develop. But to still consider the information that was distributed when having that conversation. So I kept an open mind about it. You know what I mean? She was like, okay. You know what I mean? And the meeting was over. So set the meeting out for some time out, right? So I made a couple of moves. So again, you got to check, be like, when you feel this type of stuff and you know this type of stuff, like there's a connection. You just got to find out what it is. So I made a couple of moves and I set up another meeting for us via webcam. This time I'm in a hotel and I'm way up in the hotel. I'm probably like almost on the top floor of the hotel. So this meeting is set up, right? And she's in New York at this time. And she's like, okay, yeah, I'm running a few minutes late, but you know, I'm gonna get online and we're gonna still do this. I'm like, all right, cool. Text through text. So when I get to go online to my computer, the internet connection is going Ari. And I'm like, come on, you can't do this to me right now. You can't do this to me right now. Like, why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing everything in my power, like, to fix this, and nothing is working. At the same time, there's helicopters flying outside of the window of this hotel, hovering very low. Like, I look out the window, I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I look, it's the law. You know what I'm saying? It's the law. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing nothing wrong. There's nothing illegal happening. I'm conducting professional business. I have all my certifications, everything. I'm ready. Like, what do they want? What are they doing here? Couldn't fathom it. Couldn't piece it together. I kind of started piecing it together later on, but save that for the book, of course. But at this moment, I'm like, yo, this is how, again, I'm identifying how strong this bond and connection is between this woman, because people are going out of their way to prevent this meeting from happening. So I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, yo, so, you know, just to backtrack a little bit, you know, the war in 1940, World War I think it was, happened in Paris as well. So I'm thinking perhaps that's where that whole tombstone from back then happened, whatever the case may be. So, you know, sometimes history has a way of repeating itself and stuff like that. I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. But fast forward to modern day times after the Paris terrorist attacks, and you know, I'm sitting there in this hotel trying to conduct this meeting with this woman, and it's not happening. So now I can text her, so I'm back and forth texting, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what's going on right now. I cannot get an internet connection to do this with you. She's like, all right, you know, I'm here. I'm going to be here another 20 minutes. If it connects, let me know. I'm like, all right. The helicopters don't leave either. They're staying right there until, like, I had the timer set up in the webcam thing and everything for the meeting to be an hour. Don't you know those choppers was outside until that whole entire time? So when that hour was up, they left. I text back like, you know, are you still around? She's like, no, I'm not around. I'm going. Maybe another time. I go to set up another meeting with her to try it again. She's like, I'm sorry, dude, but I got an offer overseas and I'm going to take it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? Where's it at? Stuff like that. I asked her. She told me. She gave me all the information. Bang. And something that bothered me again, like I know I'm emotionally attached to this, strongly attached to this woman in some way, because she's posting online where she's at when she went overseas, and you know, we're talking and she's like, she doesn't look happy. She doesn't, because she told me she got a lot of money for going over there. You know what I'm saying? But when she gets over this, she doesn't look happy. She looked like she lost weight. And not saying that people that lose weight are sick or ill, but you can see in her face like she's not happy. She's changing. She looks deteriorated. She looks tired. So I speak to her about it. I'm like, what's going on? You all right? You don't look so well. You know what I'm saying? You don't look so high. I keep it official. You know what I'm saying? You don't look so high. It's like, oh no, it's hard work, labor. It's very laborious work that I'm doing out here. And you can see in some of the photos, it's true, it is. But she didn't even look kept the way that she usually keeps herself. You know what I'm saying? And she did strenuous work in the States. So I'm just like, yo, I hear you, but I don't fully hear you. Like, I feel like it's something that you're keeping from me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling like she's in some type of danger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, what's the work like? She's like, well, we're working 16-hour shifts, 6 days a week. Sometimes I'm even doing 7. And I'm like, for that money, like, that's what you, like, is money the money's that important for you? Like, you look beat down out there. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. Blah, blah, blah. Introduced me to one of her friends out there that was looking after her. He's like, yo, this is my friend. Blah, blah, blah. He looks after me. Introduced me to the people in the community so I get acquainted with the community and stuff like that. Like, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, man. So again, my point is, like, I don't believe that she understood the stature or the regard that she was held in past lives. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure her being her, she has to have some type of understanding of where her last name or where she comes from. But I think she kind of rebelled against all of that. And you hear the story sometimes of people that come from these types of backgrounds and they're like, I don't care about those backgrounds. I don't care about those people. They actually make me sick. I want to get far away from them. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Yeah, I'm one of them, but I don't want to be known or remembered because of my family. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was one of those. We didn't get that deep into it. But I just felt concerned for her because I thought that she was out of that alignment. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that she put herself in compromising situations based upon some expectation of her. So, you know, sometimes people do it for family. Sometimes people do it because they're in debt. Sometimes people do it because somebody is pressuring them into doing it. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are being threatened. I didn't know. But I did know that she was definitely under some type of pressure to obtain a certain amount of money, or she just was not going for nothing. And that is my dream story about what it means when you dream about someone before you meet them and you have a crush on them. You know what I mean? So again, my pointers of advice is look at the context of the dream. Whenever you're dreaming, once you know you're dreaming, try to be very aware of paying attention to detail. The smallest thing inside of a dream can give you so much information. You just gotta be able to pinpoint it. Jot down your dream. So of course, it must have been so memorable that as soon as you seen this person, it clicked just like it did with me, and you said, okay, I know this person. That's the person for my dream. So after that, I'd say use caution only because I did. Sometimes you got to be careful introducing this type of stuff to people because it can maybe scare them away before you get to tell them something that they need to know, or before you can actually confirm something through conversation with them that lets you know, okay, yeah, they need to know this. Or even in some situations, they don't need to know this. It's better if I just know this. You know what I'm saying? You can pick up on those types of things, especially depending on how skilled you are at this. But investigate it. Investigate your last names. Where does your lineage come from? Where does their lineage come from? And even if you picked up your last name or they picked up their last name through marriage or, you know, illegitimately, whatever the case may be, that may play a factor in the whole storyline of things as well. You know what I mean? And look at the context of the information that you guys are talking about now in modern times. Also look at the time period of when the dream took place. But look at the information that you guys are talking about now. What is it about? What does it relate to? And does it relate to anything inside of the dream? And if it does, make the correlation. And then you'll understand why you're crushing. Just because you're crushing as well does not mean that the feeling that you feel is supposed to be the same feeling. Again, I don't know. I couldn't fight choppers and Wi-Fi connections. Like, there was only so much I could do. You know what I'm saying? Despite how passionate I felt about this woman, sometimes there's things that you just don't know, and sometimes you just gotta accept it. When you can't beat it, when you just got it's out of your hands, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? So sometimes you may have to pull back on that feeling that you feel about someone. But I'm pretty sure circumstances, the same way in my dream, circumstances will let you know. All right, y'all. I'm out of here.